Tony, I want to spend a minute on your book because you've really the book's all about inclusion, and we're focused on getting everyone involved and included. And we've heard some hints of that. Can you just speak a little more specifically about how what leaders can do to build? What can the leader themselves do? You talked about modeling. You talked about accessibility. Are there some other things that we really should flag for people?
Mm. Yeah, I think both Brad and Betta both actually been talking about aspects of it, which makes me feel good. I don't think they've seen the book, but at least I'm aligned with what their research has led to. But there's some of the things, and we might have heard this, but listening and intentionally and with empathy, like how your listening skills can be shortened when you're through a different medium. And so, how do you go back to ensuring that you're practicing that? You're listening fully before you respond to comments, and you're acknowledging contributions in the conversation. That can be very helpful. One of the things that we can do too, that we know that's important, when I looked at what are some of the behaviors of inclusion, is the ability to kind of acknowledge each partner's contribution. In this environment we're throwing in a lot of information, and sometimes people would like to have an acknowledgement of their contributions, whether those contributions are large or small. So just being able to highlight that. Intentionally create this safe environment. We've talked about it in terms of trust, but there's some things that we can do in terms of just being intentional about creating a safe environment by allowing time, sharing stories, and Brad and Beta, I'm sorry, had already talked about that. Collaboration is another thing that we see as being very important. Is how are we collaborating? Not just with one another, but with different functions of our business or our larger team. And how do we include some of those other teams and ensure that we're creating a collaborative environment? And then, there are many more, but one of my favorite ones is this thing that the leader just needs to ensure that they are being consistent. How do you consistently practice these behaviors? Because to do it on Monday and then not do it on Wednesday and do half of it on Friday, deteriorates from the ability of the team in order to feel trusted, feel like they're aligned, and make contributions that's going to ensure that the entire team and organization is successful. So that consistency of how that leader shows up becomes a very important process, a very important practice that will ensure that we get stronger teams.